Welcome to Betrayal Narratives. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're truly grateful for every single one of you who joins us here. Tell us in the comments where in the world you're rewatching from. We love seeing the community grow across continents. Now, let's begin. The storm hadn't yet broken over Southridge, but the sky hinted at it, dark clouds gathering like an unspoken warning. Inside a tidy two-bedroom home on the edge of the suburbs, Clara Vaughn stood in her quiet kitchen, pouring herself a deep glass of red wine. Her hand shook faintly but noticeably as the liquid curled into the glass. She inhaled slowly. 23 minutes. That's how long she had until Aaron, her husband of 5 years, would walk through their front door, completely unaware of the conversation she had prepared. The conversation that would hit him like a cold slap to the soul. Clara didn't look like she usually did on a Tuesday evening. Instead of her loose sweater and soft yoga pants, she'd chosen a sleeveless emerald top that framed her like some sort of promise. Her makeup wasn't bold but placed with intention. She wasn't trying to attract him tonight. She wasn't even pretending to. She was trying to shake him, unsettle the foundation between them, to test the borders of a decision she had been convincing herself was empowerment. Her friend Monica, confident and endlessly reckless, had been chipping away at her insecurities for months. "Clara, you've forgotten what it's like to feel wanted," she had said over cocktails. "Marriage is only a cage if you let it be one. You need fire, something that wakes you up again." Clara had laughed it off at first. But Monica's words took root, growing vines inside her mind, twisting deeper every time Aaron came home late, exhausted, barely looking at her before collapsing onto the couch. He loved her. Clara knew that, but the desire, she didn't feel it anymore. And eventually she realized she wasn't craving love. She was craving attention, spark, validation, something she hadn't felt in years. So she planned tonight like a ritual. Lasagna, his favorite, waited in the oven, filling the air with warm, nostalgic scents. A silver bucket held imported wine, chilled just right. She wanted him soft, comfortable, unsuspecting. Because what she had to say would land easier that way. Her phone buzzed, a message from Monica. "Tonight's the night. Be the fire, Clara. Don't be the ashes. He'll either bend or break." Clara stared at those words. A nervous flutter pressed against her ribs. A whisper of guilt rose inside her, but she smothered it with another slow sip of wine. She insisted to herself that this wasn't betrayal. It was exploration, liberation, a brief return to a version of herself she'd lost under the routines of marriage. At 6:02, the front door clicked open. Heavy boots thumped on the wooden floor. Aaron stepped inside, drenched slightly from the drizzle outside, shoulders stiff from another long shift. His eyes widened when he saw the table. "Wow," he breathed. "Date night?" Clara forced a small, controlled smile. "Something like that?" She handed him a glass of wine. He took it gratefully, but his eyes lingered on her outfit a moment too long. "You okay?" he asked, tone soft, concerned. "I will be," she said, gesturing toward the table. "Let's eat first." Dinner was quiet, too quiet. The food tasted good but sat heavy with tension. Forks scraped plates like whispers of things unspoken. Finally, Clara placed her fork down deliberately. "Aaron," she said, "we need to talk." He stiffened. "What's going on?" Clara inhaled deeply. "I need something. Something for me. Not necessarily from you. From life." He blinked slowly. "What does that mean?" "I felt invisible," she admitted. "Not unloved, just unseen. Like I've disappeared into the background." Aaron opened his mouth to respond, but she kept going. "So I've decided just for a little while to try something new." His posture shifted. "What kind of something?" Clara swallowed hard. "I want to see other people, just temporarily. A few months." His wineglass halted in midair. "Are you asking for a divorce?" "No," she said quickly, heart racing. "I want us to stay married, but openly." For a little while, he stared at her, motionless. He didn't shout. Aiding argue. He just watched her like someone studying a crack in the foundation of a home they de-built brick by brick. Then he set the glass down gently. "So you want permission to be unfaithful?" he said quietly. "It's not betrayal," she whispered. "Don't lie to me," Aaron said, voice still eerily calm. "Call it what it is." Clara looked down. "I need this for me." Aaron rose from his seat, not in anger, but with a cold clarity she'd never seen in him. Something deeper shifted in his expression. "Then I'll move into the guest room," he said. "What? You're not even going to talk about it? What's left to discuss?" His voice was almost frightening in its composure. "You already made your decision. I thought maybe you'd—" "What?" he asked. "Compete. Fight for you. If you want chaos, Clara, don't expect me to stand still inside it." Without another word, he walked down the hall. The door to the guest room clicked shut. No slam, no cry, no dramatic final words. That silence cut deeper than any rage could have. Clara stood alone, gripping her wine glass, realizing she had ignited something she couldn't control. Aaron didn't scream. But something inside him cracked in. Something far colder woke up. Clara barely slept that night. She sprawled across the empty marital bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying Aaron's expression over and over. She had expected anger, tears, maybe even passion, anything but what she got. But by morning, the guilt had drowned under Monica's voice in her head. He didn't explode. Perfect. Men who go silent always come crawling back. "You're showing him you're still a woman worth chasing." Clara repeated those words to herself like affirmations as she applied her lipstick, smoothing it with practiced ease. She told herself this wasn't betrayal. It was self-rediscovery. A spark. A reclaiming of what she had lost. At work, the world looked brighter. She wore a dress she hadn't worn in years. People glanced at her. She felt it, the attention, the curiosity. Even the whispers fueled something in her. And then Eli texted her. Eli, the soft-spoken consultant, known for his quiet charm and sharp mind. "You look beautiful in the hallway this morning." Her fingers hovered hesitantly. She knew the line she was crossing, but she stepped anyway. "Maybe," she typed back. "I dressed up for you." He replied instantly. "Then I'm honored. Drinks tonight." It escalated fast, too fast. They met for drinks, then dinner. Then nights blended into lies she told Aaron and lies she told herself. Eli fed her ego, telling her she was radiant, rare, desirable. He complimented the way she spoke, the way she laughed. Meanwhile, Aaron said nothing. But his silence wasn't weakness. It was something else entirely. He changed passwords on the shared tablet. He replaced a router without explanation. He started staying late in the garage with tools and a box of electronics she didn't recognize. One afternoon, she found him hunched over it, quietly working. When she entered, he quickly closed the lid on the project. "What are you doing out here?" she asked. "It helps clear my mind," he said, not looking at her. His calmness was terrifying, like a still ocean hiding a storm beneath. Clara brushed it off. She thought silence meant surrender. But Aaron was not surrendering. He was preparing. Clara's affair with Eli grew bolder, reckless. They met in parking lots. They kissed in elevators. Once, in the back seat of Eli's car while rain hammered the windows like applause, she felt alive. And yet, shadows crept around her. Strange looks from coworkers. A sticky note left anonymously on her desk. "Someone is watching." She ignored them until Monica called one evening, breathless. "Clara, someone's digging. Someone is looking into us." "I think it's Aaron." Clara froze. "What do you mean, digging?" "They know things, Clara. Someone contacted HR. Someone sent stuff to my landlord. This is serious." Fear prickled her spine. That night, Clara opened her laptop to find a folder she hadn't seen before, titled Clara, Personal. Inside were screenshots, GPS logs, timestamps, a spreadsheet labeled Confirmed Encounters, Her blood turned to ice. Erin knew everything. She deleted the folder in panic, but the truth was already out. His silence had been a mask. Behind it, he had been documenting, tracking, preparing. At 2:17 a.m., Clara crept toward the guest room to confront him. The door opened easily. The room was empty, untouched. Erin was gone. His truck missing from the driveway. He hadn't taken clothes, only himself. And that terrified her far more than shouting ever could have. 2 days passed with no word. The silence grew suffocating. She couldn't eat, couldn't focus, couldn't breathe without feeling dread clawing at her throat. On the third day, a letter appeared at her door. Hand-delivered, no postage. It's just a single typed page. Clara, I won't stop you from being free. But freedom has a price. Watch carefully. She read it 3 times. It made no sense. Then her phone rang. Mrs. Vaughn, a deep voice said, "This is Officer Talbot from Southridge PD. Your husband's vehicle was found dumped in the creek." Clara nearly fainted. "Is he hurt? Is he missing?" "No, ma'am. He's not missing. He is safe. In fact, he came to us yesterday. He informed us that all assets tied to your shared account are being transferred. You'll receive court notices shortly." Clara sank to her knees. This wasn't abandonment. This was a controlled demolition. And she was standing in the rubble. She tried calling Monica. No answer. Tried calling Eli. Silence. Then her work email flooded with messages from HR. A video had leaked. Not graphic, but unmistakable enough. Clara's voice, whispering Eli's name, her laughter. Her betrayal. Someone had uploaded it internally. And then someone shared it externally. Within hours, it spread like wildfire. Online comments tore her apart. So this is the famous Clara. She cheated and now wants sympathy. Imagine losing your marriage for a guy who wasn't even single. She tried making a public statement, a short video defending herself, but the comments drowned her instantly. She deleted it. Erin didn't comment, didn't send threats, didn't even gloat. His silence was lethal. HR summoned her. 4 people sat waiting: legal, HR, and a security officer she'd never seen. They slid a thick file toward her messages. Photos, logs, audio clips. All painted with grim precision. She whispered, "How did you get all this?" No one answered. By afternoon, she wasn't fired. She was suspended pending further review, which everyone knew was code for start packing. Clara returned home only to find the locks changed. Boxes stacked on the porch. A small note on top. "You wanted freedom. Enjoy it," she broke. She fell to the concrete in front of the home that used to be hers, her entire life shoved into cardboard cubes. Everything Erin was doing, he wasn't doing out of rage. He was doing it out of strategy. And that made it worse. She took the boxes to Monica's place. Monica looked pale, shaken. "He sent files to my landlord," she whispered. "He exposed every secret I ever had." Clara felt sick. "You told me this would be empowering." Monica scoffed bitterly. "I said it would be fun. You're the one who thought it would be harmless." Within days, Clara's world disintegrated. Her affair leaked online. Her job hung by a thread. Her friends distanced themselves. People stared in public. Some even whispered when she passed. Then came the divorce proceedings. Erin didn't attend the mediation out of fury. He attended it out of closure. His lawyer, Talia Rohr, was a woman with a reputation sharp enough to cut steel. "You are entitled to nothing," Talia said plainly. "No house, no car, no spousal support. We have overwhelming evidence that you violated your marital duties with intent." Clara tried to argue. Tried to say she didn't mean to destroy anything, but intent didn't matter. Impact did. The hearing was brief. The judge barely looked at her. Erin spoke one scam steady, devastating. "My wife didn't cheat. She walked away from the marriage long before she kissed another man. I just made space for her to finish leaving. It felt like a knife sliding between her ribs." Clara checked into a motel that night. Her phone vibrated. Monica, are you doing okay? Clara didn't answer. She stared at the broken pieces of her life. Days folded into each other. She tried job hunting. Most employers had Googled her. One manager politely said your background checks raised concerns. She nodded silently and left. She walked past her old neighborhood sometimes, staring at the home she lost. New owners, new flowers, new life. It looked like a place that had healed after she left. She felt like a ghost haunting her own past. One evening, she slipped into a bookstore hosting a talk about rebuilding after failure. The speaker said something that struck her deeply. You can lose everything and still survive, but you must own your choices. Accountability isn't punishment. It's the foundation for rebuilding. Clara felt something break open inside her. The next day, she wrote a letter. Aaron, you never yelled, you never fought. You just walked away. And that silence was the loudest pain I've ever heard. I ruined us. I chased attention instead of repairing what we had. You didn't destroy me? I did. Thank you for not finishing the job when I had already begun burning my own bridge. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know that I finally see what I lost. Clara. She mailed it. Weeks passed. No reply. Then one rainy evening, while fulfilling her required volunteer hours at a women's shelter, Clara stepped outside for coffee. Truck pulled up. Her breath caught. Aaron stepped out. He looked different. Not angry, not cold, just calm. Hey, Clara, he said. Why? Why are you here? She asked. I'm helping build the shelter's new wing, he said simply. They hired me. She let out a small, breathy laugh. Of course they did. He hesitated, then nodded. I got your letter. I didn't expect you to respond. I wasn't going to, he admitted. But I wanted to say one thing. She swallowed. Okay, you were right, he said softly. I didn't fight, 'cause if I had fought, I would have gone too far. And I didn't want to become someone ugly just to match the pain I felt. Tears pricked her eyes. You already got even. He shook his head gently. I didn't destroy you, Clara. I just stopped protecting you from the consequences you created. She looked down. Are you happy? He glanced at the shelter, at the beams he was installing. Healing, he said. That's better than happy. She nodded. Me too. They stood there for a moment, letting the drizzle fall around them to people who had burned each other, scorched each other, and somehow survived their own war. Broken, but still breathing.